All right. Good evening, sir. My question to you is that some of the questions that the Congress party has posed to the government of the day, they look like credible questions that deserve an answer from the government of the day, whether it is about fuel prices, which did skyrocket, whether it is about farmer crisis, we did have a 10-day stir of farmers being upset in a lot of regions, or whether it is about ceasefire violations by Pakistan on a daily basis. All this does deserve a reply from the government of the day. So your response firstly on what the Congress has been saying, and then of course we take it up from there.
Yes, I don't think Modi should be blamed for the rise in crude prices. After all, they were making a lot of noise about that. But then look, in the last few days, the crude prices have started coming down. I mean, this is more of a geopolitical thing rather than anything to do with India. As far as the vegetable sector was concerned, you saw how some people were forcibly, making small vegetable and dairy vendors to dump their vegetables and milk on the street. So this is definitely politically motivated. The third thing is that health is good for everyone, that to be healthy is a very, very good thing. And I don't know why...
But is it at the cost of governance, sir? Is it at the cost of governance? That is the question. You know,
Modi is one of the most hardest working heads of state in the world today. Show me somebody who works 16, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, without a break. He's also doing the job of an external affairs minister. For good reasons. I mean, I'm not going to go into that part. But I think Congress is, should look at what he has done in the last 4 years. I mean, if there are problems that if it appears that he's not making much progress, it's because of what has been there for the last 70 years.
Okay.
I mean, I think we need to give him more time.
To answer, Sree Iyer has a point to make. We'll come to him. Then we'll, of course, get into comments on our social media platforms as well. Yes.
Gauri, you have a point there in that the Prime Minister should be able to address things that are happening in his own country. My suggestion to this is that the Prime Minister start having somebody holding media briefing, just like the way it is done in the United States. Every day, there is always something happening in some corner of the country. Why not have a media briefing like 11 o'clock or, 4 o'clock in the evening, something like that, wherein they come out and give the position on various things. That also would look like the government is responding promptly. And then we can have these kind of analysis afterwards where we can debate whether this was the right move or not. It gives for a much better dialogue for the country.
Okay, Mr. Iyer, we do have a BJP spokesperson on the panel. I'll hope that this time around, besides bashing Rahul Gandhi, he'll give me an answer to the question I was asking him. But sir, I want to ask you, very dispassionately, very in an unbiased way, India is the diabetes capital of the world. India has one of now a very fastest pace at which cancer is growing. You have a very high rate of blood pressure patients. So at some level, if you have a Prime Minister who's inculcating good fitness habits, one should also look at the other side of it as well.
Yes, I think fitness, especially since you mentioned that diabetes is a big concern in India and for Indians, I think, people have to separate the two things. Being healthy has nothing to do with the governance issues. I think Mr. Modi is trying his hardest to set right a lot of things, and I think we need to give him some more time. I mean, I'll also go on to mention on air today that the BJP has actually lost the bypoll election in Jayanagar constituency, for which they had a sitting candidate who unfortunately died before the elections were held. So the point I'm trying to make is, let's not try to link anything that Mr. Modi does with his governance. I think he's trying really, really hard. I mean, it's not going to be so easy to create jobs. It's not like a magician where, he can bring out jobs out of a hat. You have to create an atmosphere. You have to create an infrastructure. And I think in all those things, Mr. Modi is doing an excellent job.
Okay.
I mean, if you look about GST and the roads that have been built,
let's positive on that, Mr. Iyer. Last few comments. Yes. We've lauded the fact that we have a fit Prime Minister. We've lauded the fact that he's willing to inspire others. The fundamental question, sir. Let me come back to what I said. that it's not as if there are not enough questions of governance that need in answers. It's not as if that the government is not aware of the crisis, especially as far as agri is concerned. You know, one may debate about whether this strike was motivated or not, whether it was successful or not, that's a separate issue. But the fact that there are real concerns of agri distress cannot be ruled out. So how does one now look at a response coming in from the Prime Minister?
Gauri, you got a very good point. See, agri distress is something that is not as simple as giving the farmer a guaranteed minimum price, and then they go and overproduce it, and then the government doesn't know what to do with the excess product. Now, I'll also give you one other simple instance. Today, Haryana and Punjab are growing rice, not for themselves, but for the southern states. You see, so this is more like a demand and supply kind of thing. You know, Haryana and Punjab probably have better water resources because the rice requires standing water, and therefore they are producing more rice. So the problem about agri distress is something that is not quite as simple as, okay, if I do this, it will happen there. So this is more of a macroeconomic issue, and I think you have to give some time. The Prime Minister is kind of, in my opinion at least, a little bit short-handed in terms of who he needs to have at the right place for right ministries. We have been saying this for a while, but somehow that has not really, taken root. And that is one of the reasons why you're having these kinds of problems. But you are absolutely right that no Kisan should die because he's unable to pay debts, that no policeman or army person should die at the borders. But we are living in a real world.
Right.
Somebody wants to inflict harm upon us, and we have to essentially respond in the best possible way we can. I think we have to give some more time. I keep saying the same thing again and again. Give him some more time.